Kristin Aguirre is hanging out with us now at the Quincy Art Center this morning. Howdy, Kristen.
Hi, yes, I'm here at the Quincy Art Center's new library, and with me now is Executive Director Julie Nelson to tell us a little bit about what this facility can offer you. So Julie, when did this new library open?
Well, about 3 weeks ago, all the construction was done and all the books are now labeled, and we had wonderful volunteers helping us with that.
And so what made you guys decide to build this library?
Well, Jack Bosch, who was a board member here and a lifelong Art Center member, he's deceased. He died about 4 years ago, but he wanted to leave us a library. He owned an incredible library in his home. All these books just kind of were everywhere, you know, very neat though, and in order, and we wanted to do it for him, and he wanted us to do it.
So this really is a great way to showcase his collection.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it was designed by Tony Crane of Architectnics, and Schlipman Construction did it for us, and it's just, the room has just changed totally. It didn't look anything like this before.
And did you have someone design this room? Because it's beautiful, it's very modern.
Absolutely, Tony Crane, and he's on our board, and he did it at no cost to us.
That's great. So coming up later in the show, we're actually going to go ahead and go through this beautiful collection and hear more about the guy who donated it.
Hey, very nice. We will see you very soon. Let's check in with Kristin Aguirre today or now.
Well, she's live this morning at Quincy Art Center's new library. Kristen, anything on the walls that we should know about?
Yes, there are some really great paintings that we'll cover up a little bit later in the show, but right now I want to talk about Jack W. Bosch, and the actual full title of the library is Jack W. Bosch Memorial Quincy Fine Arts Library, I believe. With me now is Julie Nelson, the Executive Director here at the Quincy Art Center, and she's going to tell us all about Jack and why they decided to dedicate this library to him.
Well, Jack was a good friend of ours and was on the board and would always come in and look at exhibits with me. We'd walk around and we'd have our own little tour. It was great. And before that, when he was a young boy, he'd come in here and take art lessons, and he studied with Fritzie Morrison, who many of your viewers may know. She's deceased now, too. But anyway, we received this painting. We have a painting here that was auctioned off after his death, and I named it Young Man with a Plumb Bob by Jack Bosch. Well, then some ladies came in that knew him and had some old photographs of him in the Army when he was younger and so on. It ends up, that's him. So it's a self-portrait, and you can see we need to put a new label up there. You can see the stuff, there's some gooey stuff where we had the label, and now it'll be changed. But those are the same ears and mouth and everything.
So it was perfectly fitting to have this self-portrait of him in here because this library is dedicated to him.
Yes, and we had no idea. I mean, it was before we knew it was him, which is really, really neat.
And all the books that are in here, this was his collection too, correct?
Yes, this is his collection, and these are only the art books. He had other books as well that went to other places. But anyway, we're really tickled with it.
Mm-hmm. It's absolutely gorgeous. Coming up later in the show, we are actually going to Julie's going to take us on a little tour of the books here, and she's even going to show us some of the books that are actually in the library that coincide with the actual exhibits that the artist actually painted here. So we'll take a look at that coming up later in the show.
Thanks, Kristen. Well, yes, and Kristen, the last time we checked in with her, she had found a book on her favorite artist. So how do we go about doing some research there when we go?
So the whole library is actually the Dewey Decimal System, which I haven't heard since I was in grammar school. So with me now is Julie Nelson to tell us how people can come here and check out their books.
Okay, well, we have a browsing library, so you can look at them in the library, or you can make copies. We have a nice copy machine in my office, actually. And anyway, we have a lot of things, and if you can just come during regular hours that we're open, and we're here 9 to 4 during weekdays, and then 1 to 4 on the weekends.
So we can't take them out of the building, but you can come here and you can, like Julie said, make copies, read up on your book, and there's also no computers in here. And there is a reason, right?
That's right. We have Wi-Fi here, so if folks want to bring their own laptops, they can do that, and we can hook them up. And also we have lots of electrical outlets all around the room too.
But wasn't it requested that there would be no computers in here?
Yes, yes. The donor said, you know, I like to hold a book in my hand and, you know, turn the pages and look at the pictures and so on. And so that's the way we have it.
And this library has everything from how-to books. One of the most famous how-to books here, Julie, right, is the Artist Handbook. And what can we find in there?
That's right. This is by Ralph Mayer, and this one has gone through many editions. And it has how to make a fresco and how to make egg tempera and how to do a watercolor, you know, from things very unusual and rare to things that, you know, are kind of everyday art processes.
All right, and coming up later in the show, we're actually going to go ahead and cover some of the artists that you can find in this library that actually are in the exhibit right down the hall. And one of them is Picasso, and I was able to see it, and it was amazing. So we'll check that out coming up later in the show.
Very cool. And now with Kristin Aguilar.
Yes, she's live this morning at the Quincy Art Center, learning all about a new library there. Kristen?
Hi guys. Yes, I am here learning about the new facility that's offered here. Last we were looking at the library collection and we found some how-to books. Now we're going to look at some of the books that offer some background on the artists, right?
That's right. And these are artists who have artwork in the show that we have in the Stevenson Gallery right now.
So who are some of those artists?
Well, we have Picasso, and here's a book over here.
We got Picasso right here, and everybody knows Picasso.
That's right. We have a Pablo Picasso, actually 3 of them in the other room. They're all the pieces that we're talking about are original lithographs. And they were not signed or numbered, so they aren't quite as valuable as the real ones that were.
But still just as beautiful.
They're original. They're just as beautiful, and that's from an exhibit called Vintage Prints, or 20th Century Vintage Prints, that'll open the 21st of this month.
So if you don't know Picasso, you can come here and you can look up a book on him. So there are a ton of different books here. Absolutely. With background.
That connect with our show. Excuse me. We've got Juan Miró here, a Spanish artist. He has several pieces also in the show.
So when you have the show across the way and you don't know anything about the artist, you can come right here, cozy up with a cup of coffee, and read all the background on them, correct?
That's right. That's right, and we hope people will.
And how big is this collection?
Just around a little bit over 600 works.
So there's plenty of different artists that people can come here and read about.
Absolutely. Some that are kind of, you know, people haven't heard of them before, and others that, of course, they have.
So if you don't know anything about any art, you can come here and learn more. Or if you have seen an art show and you don't know anything about the artist, you can come here and pull out a book and learn everything you need to know about them. Coming up later in the show, we'll take another tour around the new facility and take a look at the artwork that's actually displayed here in this room.
Cool. It seems like a place for everyone to enjoy. Again.
Well, she's definitely been up for a while, and in fact, enjoying a cup of coffee at the Quincy Art Center this morning inside their new library. What's going on over there?
So we've learned about everything that this library has to offer, everything from how-to art books, from background on your favorite artist, but it's also used for something else. So what else can we use this room for?
Well, we could use it for conferences and meetings and retreats.
And so that's why it's kind of really modernly decorated, correct?
That's right. It's for all kinds of reasons. And Jack would have loved that it was modern, I think, too.
And Jack W. Bogue is who this library is actually dedicated to, and it's in his memorial. And we want to talk about now some of the decor in here. This room is absolutely beautiful. It's very modern. And one of the things that struck me was this really great quote here. So whose idea was to put that there?
Well, Jack was showing it to me one day and said, wouldn't it be neat if this were on a plaque in the library? And I thought to myself, yes, it would. so here it is. And I think it's a wonderful quote.
And it's perfectly fitting. It's libraries are where ideas are born, where people are inspired to make art, and later history. They can cast a spell on you. And that's exactly what this room does. You can pull up a book on your favorite artist, sit down, or you can even have your work meeting here. So let's talk about some of the art that's on the wall. This first one is by?
This one's by Thomas Gray. Stripes of a Desert Storm, and it's a collograph relief. So what that means is it was a special kind of print. It was run through a printing press. And a relief print is something that comes out, like a woodcut. When you do a woodcut, you put the ink on the surface of the piece. So it was it was a large print is what I can say, but these little tiny elements here look like they were little prints that were maybe stamped on there.
And they're gorgeous. And we have some of this other beautiful paintings here on the wall so you can look at when you're sitting here. But one that we really want to focus on is this last one here. It's actually made by a local artist.
Yes, that's by Bob Major, who teaches art over at Quincy University. And this was part of a series that we commissioned him to do for memberships, and we actually have more of these left if anyone's interested in them.
So we can actually purchase them?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
Alongside with some of the most famous artists like Picasso, we have even some great local art here. And you can visit the new library every day of the week, correct?
Mm-hmm. Every day of the week, that's right. Every day that someone is here. Again, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4, Saturday and Sunday, 1 to 4.
All right, so if you're interested in learning about your favorite artist or even coming in looking for a quiet place to work, the Quincy Art Center is the place for you.
All right, thanks so much, Kristen.